Do you know what I just realised I could do for the podcast?
Was that Earth Song?
Doctor, doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Hello and welcome to I Hate Doctor Who, a podcast where I get people who hate Doctor Who to watch Doctor Who, which is probably makes it one of the most obnoxious podcasts going. My name is Richie, so why not say hello to my guests, Owen.
Hello.
Gavin.
Hello.
And Sean.
Hello.
Sean. Hi guys, how's it going? Right, I have so far subjected you to quite a lot of Doctor Who at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How come?
I'm actually quite sorry about it.
I think
I had a moment
when you asked us on again, I laughed at the and I was just thinking about it. I was laughing. It's really funny what this podcast has become.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. There's a lot of rules and lore around this show now.
Yeah, I know.
That have sprung up that I love.
When you think about what this show is supposed to be and what's happened, that's quite funny.
I need to give some full disclosure as well, because we were meant to record on Monday and I watched it on Sunday in a panic while also being really, really hungover and drinking a litre of chocolate milk.
Oh wow.
So it was
Chocolate ducky.
yeah. So it was a comfort show for me.
You'll have a good perspective on it then.
Yeah.
No, I mean, for those that don't know, this podcast is meant to be me taking a new guest every episode and finding an episode for them. But it hasn't quite worked out like that.
I mean, that's a great idea.
It is a great idea.
That's a really good idea for a show.
It is a good idea.
That's it. Imagine this. Oh, come on, Doctor Who. We're going to look at, the fucking. I try to think of the name of a Doctor Who episode that what we haven't done already, but I can't. Join me.
Space.
Join me in the greatest show in the galaxy. Me and Scrooby as Pip. Join me and her from Girls Aloud.
Do you know what I've asked a couple of people. I literally have asked a couple of people, and I've had so far I've had two. Oh man, I'm really busy.
Just all the time.
Did you explain to them that if they don't come on, that Geshcast will do another guest episode, and you can't let that happen? Is that why we're here?
The best thing was is I was meant to record one back in March, I think, and then I said, I'm going to be recording one soon, and you guys all just so quickly got together and recorded your own episode because you were worried I was going to get it out before.
Yeah, I don't know why we were worried, but we were a little bit.
The turnaround on that podcast was nothing short of incredible.
Yeah, it's never been that seamless a process.
And of course, the best thing is once you've put one out and then it becomes the latest episode, anytime someone goes to the podcast and goes, I'll just stick on whatever the last one was, and it's used, and I'm not even in it.
Well, whose fault's that?
It's completely my own fault.
Try to keep your podcast alive.
I know.
Well, I don't mind repeating because I'm just glad to be back, because it's now I've watched two.
It's your
Doctor
second.
Who things. I've watched two Doctor Who things, and it was great. I was excited to see what's another, in the universe. He's going everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that both of them have been like a bit of grass by the sea.
Do you think that it's that? How do you feel, Sean, knowing that you've been on more episodes now than Richie has?
Yeah, honoured.
Are you looking forward?
Are
you looking forward to finding out about the and space machine part of Time and Space Machine?
Yeah, that would be nice. Actually, you could convince me that from what I've seen so far, that he goes to the same place in different times. And that's the premise of the show.
As far as Sean's concerned, the TARDIS might as well be a little boat.
I wonder where the TARDIS will take us next.
It must be 1066. Oh, I know.
Morning, Father.
What is it you're doing here? What are you up to?
The monk's got a TARDIS.
We're about to have a Viking invasion, and very soon. So that's it. You're a time meddler. The whole course of history changed in one single swing. By wiping out the Viking fleet. Why would he want to? He wants to destroy the whole pattern of world history. He won't listen. He's determined to have his own way. It's got to be stopped. He must be stopped.
But I just thought, let's just do one, and it'll be good fun. And I was gonna give you, because we talked about how I was always giving you like 70s ones, like I was giving you the absolute faves, and you did throw down the challenge of like, let's do some 80s, hit us with, and I was gonna hit you with an 80s one, but then I went to like a cinema screening of an episode that's about to come out in Blu-ray, and it was this one. And I was like, God, this is really good. I might do this one.
And it's a perfect opportunity to boast about having attended that screening.
Yeah.
So wait, no, right.
Yeah.
No, sorry, this isn't even adding up. Then I'm missing something here, because so you went to see this in the cinema,
Yeah.
right? And obviously, tastes are different, subjective. This is good. I'll make other people watch it.
Yes.
But wait, what was the episode you chose?
The Time Meddler.
Yeah, no, that's the one we watched. Yeah, right.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that doesn't add up, because like I've watched the Time Meddler now, and that wouldn't be shown in a cinema.
No, I mean, you're right.
Not with people showing up anyway. I mean,
Yeah, maybe to test the fucking projector or something.
yeah, maybe it could have come on by mistake.
A genuine accident. I'd be fine with that.
To be honest, I had been thinking there's a lot of like first and second Doctor stories that I thought would be good to show you, but they're all like, so many of them are like 8, 10 parts. And I was like, I couldn't do that to them.
That's nice.
And then,
The DVD you gave me, by the way, Richie bought me a DVD of this, which was nice. I'm going to treasure it.
It's yours,
because it said on the cover it says the man, what's his name, who played Doctor Who in this?
William Hartnell.
Yeah, him years, and then his years. And I thought that was that being on the box, I thought that meant that this DVD this is the collection of
Oh God, no!
all his. So I was like, God, he's only on 4 like little bits. So the whole time I was waiting for him to turn into the next Doctor. And like when it was like 2 minutes to go, and I was kind of going, what's going to happen to him?
Instead, you got 4 episodes of people farting around in some fake woods.
It was very kind of Richie to buy us those DVDs, which now that the Blu-ray is out are worthless.
I did say to you, I'm not going to be offended if you charity shop them, because obviously I don't think they weren't. I didn't.
No, but the charity shop will be.
But I mean, you tell me, people listening. Obviously, we'll send that to guys. I've bought all the DVDs. I'll send one out to Owen. I sent one to Sean. Gavin, you can just BritBox it. Oh, can I?
If you would like to, if you listener would like to win my copy, Sean's copy of Who
signed, of no less,
Doctor Who, whatever, donate Richie £1,000 right now.
But you can have mine for 500.
So, like I said, we're doing the Time Meddler. I'll do some stats. So, the Time Meddler is from Series 2 of Doctor Who. So it's quite early on. Episodes, this is what got me, like, episodes 36 to 39 of Series 2.
Of how many episodes in a series?
Well, they were the last 4, so that's 39 episodes in a series. So that's 39 weeks of the year it was on, basically. It was on from the 3rd to the 24th of July 1965. It's the 9th story in series 2, but it's the 17th story overall, and it was written by Dennis Spooner. There you go. I don't know why.
Good man,
it's like,
Dennis.
yep.
Old Spoonie.
I like
Good
though as you ream off this fact file.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the listeners who like Doctor Who thinking, "Oh, finally, it's cooking." Here we go.
Everyone,
I was
The one
just
thing-
about to turn it off.
Oh, you're still here, are you? Good.
so okay, so we're going for the first Doctor. Gavin, what were your expectations?
I think because now I've been tempered by a lot of Tom Baker and Tales of the Unexpected and other 70s stuff that takes its, I know this isn't 70s, but to take a slower approach to storytelling, I'm more used to it now. I've come to the point where I actually quite enjoy it. So I was like, yeah, I'll plan to give it another try. You know, your mood changes on these things quite often, I feel. You've got to be in the right mood for it, and you sit down, let's give it a chance. Let's give this Doctor Who a chance.
Okay, I'll move to Owen. What was your expectations?
I really didn't know what to expect, but I was looking forward to finding out what it was like, because I had no idea. I had no idea what the Doctor acted like. I suppose I was expecting it to be like to feel completely at odds with what came later. I just assumed it was going to be like, oh, you know, like all the rules are going to seem wrong, you know, retroactively wrong, like the way you watch, like even the original Star Wars now feels completely at odds with everything that came after, even though it wasn't that long. But yeah, I didn't expect it to seem so, like, it feels like all the stuff is kind of there already.
Yeah.
And I know it's not the first episode or anything, but it just goes to show how much they've stuck with it. And I like I said, I was looking forward to seeing how the Doctor acted, because I'd only ever seen pictures of him, never heard him speak, and I didn't imagine he was going to be wacky.
Right.
So I was curious to see
His
how does he
wackiness
play
still
this?
takes me by surprise. I think I just see an old man. I'm like, oh, bet he's going to be mad, grumpy. Which obviously he is.
He's got a little leprechaun laugh, kind of. He just kind of tease away.
Yeah, he's a little impish. Which I like.
He's got a loveliness, but he's also still got a bit of, you know, he's still quite stern.
Well, just visually, he looks like he's going to be the sternest guy. So when he has a bit of fun, it really does seem like, oh, I am charmed. I am charmed by this.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. What about you, Sean? Did you have any expectations?
I honestly have no answer for this. I didn't expect
No, it's
anything.
okay. I know.
Is that showing up? Is that DVDs? I was expecting it to be in colour.
They couldn't even do that.
That was the first big letdown.
Yeah.
Oh God! So when it
No,
started,
I wasn't. I came into this with absolutely no. I haven't a notion.
No respect.
Or respect. So.
Okay, I guess I'll be interested to hear your take on it, because you know less of the lore than, say, Gavin Owen do.
Quite knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Well, it
Whoa,
seemed.
whoa.
I mean, it seemed fairly consistent with the last thing we watched. I mean, there's an assistant character, and there's Doctor Who.
There's a monk.
They go they go to a new place.
By the sea.
Something's up, and there's water.
They row up to the latest place.
So I know that those are the three things, like assistant, Doctor Who, and being by the seaside, are like generally.
So this was kind of the first time that that it was almost entirely new cast, because we'd had the way that it started. The first episode, it was the Doctor and his granddaughter, and then her two teachers end up in the TARDIS with them. Granddaughter leaves first, and then the teachers, when they get the opportunity to go back home, basically when the TARDIS lands in the right place, they're like, "We're here. We're gonna go now. Bye."
I'm sorry, did I hear right? The Doctor's granddaughter?
Yeah. The first episode is the Doctor and his granddaughter, Susan,
Gallifreyan granddaughter.
who he fucking abandons.
Susan
Sorry.
Who?
who he abandons at the end of the Dalek invasion of Earth for some reason.
A very odd thing, like in terms of, because I feel like modern day Who, the companions, they're going on these adventures that, to be fair, put the scale of what happens in the older shows to shame. The sights you see, the things you do, are so much more extreme, and the life you live is a life of sheer excitement the entire time. So when someone decides they want to leave, you're like, oh shit, really? You want to go? You want to leave this? But back then, in the original, like in the 60s and 70s Doctor Who's, where they're just like, you know, getting attacked by the Saxons, I'd be like, yeah, can I go? This is actually really dangerous.
It's raining loads.
It's not actually that far from the beach where I live, so I'm not getting the most out of this.
Yeah.
I really, because when you said time and space machine, I was really banking on that and space, and so far
we've been in between like kind of middle to northern England, and I'd really try just somewhere else would be great.
There was I really liked the bit when he got out of the TARDIS and had a look around and was like, England, as if to like he was surprised. Wow, it was
breathe
like,
it in
here
again.
England.
So basically, up to this point, your stories had either been like, they tended to be either historical, where it was like you're in the past, you're on adventures in history, or like sci-fi, where you're like fighting the Daleks, basically. And this was kind of their first crossover over the two. Now, obviously, these days you can't go into the past without there being some sort of alien or robot turning up. Obviously,
Do you think they ruined it?
I'm sure somebody thought that. There will have been. Somebody was saying to me, I was talking to someone recently about how you had the first episode of Doctor Who, and in the second episode they end up hanging out with a bunch of cavemen, and there's literally a letter. I think somebody said there was a letter in the Radio Times or something about someone saying, I really liked it last week, but it's not this week, it's stuff with the cavemen and everything. So literally by week 2 there's people going, it's not as
good as it used to be.
As good as it used to be, you know.
That's amazing.
So the original Doctor Who was kind of like a 50-50 split between almost educational, like here's stuff from the past, factual based, and just all made up.
Yeah. You got to keep the obviously, because after the Daleks became massive, they just had to sort of pry them in as often as they could.
Do you think, like knowing what it used to be, that the actual reason for the Daleks' popularity was not their inherent appeal, but oh great, we're not learning anything this week.
Maybe.
Yeah. I will say,
I like these ones because I'm not being told what to think.
And the Doctor steps out and he's like, what's happening? 1066, yes. And I'm like, oh, fuck off, mate.
a fucking Dalek better roll around the corner right now with a Viking helmet on, or...
It's true that, like, I know I took a little bit of stick for saying this in the last time we were talking about how things like dates, like knowing when the Magna Carta was signed, knowing when the Battle of Hastings was, whatever, anything like that, it is all very much, that's all there was back then. That's all they had to entertain them, was in between episodes of Doctor Who, learning fucking dates and reciting them in school. That's all they had.
But everybody loves 1066 because it's a really easy year to remember.
Not for the Doctor, it took him a while. Took him a few questions to get to that. Yes or no?
What happened in 1066?
The Battle of Hastings.
What was that?
William the Conqueror.
Who?
Well, basically...
Assume I don't know what happened in 1066.
You know what? It's one of those things where it's like I came up with the big words there. Everyone remembers the year. Yep. Is it not when the king got the arrow through the eye? Is that one?
But that's the thing. Back then, everyone would have known what that was. Everyone would know the detail of it. Now,
but the only reason anyone learned any of that was to win a pub quiz.
Well, there you are, young man. What do you think of that now, eh? A Viking helmet. Maybe. What do you mean, maybe? What do you think it is, a space helmet for a cow?
Do you know I've watched this story 3 times in the last year, but obviously because I had to go, I went to see it in the cinema, and then doing this, I thought, well, better. They're watching it. Imagine I didn't watch it.
Yeah. But what you're saying, that doesn't really add up, Richie, because why would you watch it again a third time?
What do you mean?
You said you watched it 3 times.
Yeah. Oh, so I watched it last Christmas, and then when it was on at the BFI, I was like, oh, right, okay, I'm going to go and see it. And then I had to watch it again for this.
Oh, speaking of which, should we mention going to see the Doctor Who's in the cinema?
Yes. Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, we went to see the
Doctor
2 Dalek
Who
films.
Newsbeat.
We went to see the 2 Dalek films in a double bill in the most roasting cinema. You know what the best thing?
Roasted.
It was like brutally warm, really bad, and we sat through the 2 films, so that's about 3 hours. And at around about 2 hours 45, Gav had enough and went out to the bar, and the guy said, "What's the temp?" to get some water, and the guy went, "What's the temperature like in there?" And Gav was like, "It's really, really bad."
Mm-hmm.
And what did the guy say to you, Gav?
Oh, I'll go and maybe see about putting the old air conditioning on. It's like, you fucker, don't you dare.
We were literally in the middle of a heat wave.
Yeah.
Sitting in a packed out cinema.
Might go and see about putting that on.
Just a big switch next to them.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, that was set to off.
That'll be very comfortable in 15 minutes time.
Yeah,
A
Richie
nice
managed-
big cold gust to blow everyone out into the...
Off let's go.
all the wrappers and popcorn getting pushed out. But still, not Richie managed to convince me over these course of this show has convinced me that I would like to go and see Doctor Who in the cinema, and I did.
Well, of course, the mad thing about those Doctor Who films is that they're remakes of episodes. The 2 films are like remakes of episodes, but they kind of have a slightly different take on the character. So he's literally just an old man inventor.
Yeah, that's good.
And
I liked all
invented.
the graphics and stuff, and all the music was
It
great.
was good,
and yeah, it's like kind of like Austin Powers levels of graphics and all. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
A bit like Austin Powers.
A bit like Austin Powers.
I love the time machine in Austin Powers. Can we talk about Austin Powers for a minute? You know the Austin, like with the swirl, and they run into it, and like that's just great stuff. And when they freeze and then spin, great. So that was the Doctor Who newsbeat.
What are your top 3 Austin Powers moments?
Oh, Gavin. Well, number 1.
You're asking a couple of questions there, really.
Number 1, when Fat Bastard gets the homing device shoved up his arse.
Oh yeah.
1.
Frisky are we?
Don't you dare enjoy it. Number 2, when he gets the new time machine to go to the 70s to meet Beyonce, and the car starts bouncing like a lowrider, hydraulics, and in number 3, it would have to be in Goldmember when he lifts both his legs up.
Oh yeah, yeah. We all laughed at that, didn't we? We all enjoyed that.
That's
didn't
2 from Goldmember. The shit one. It's not. It's got problems, but I'll be making a video about that in the future.
Before I clicked the episode, Amazon Prime did say this is a science fiction drama, exciting and serious show. So,
Thanks for the warning.
yep.
Well, like one thing that was nice when I got started, that was a pleasant surprise, and it's kind of on why I would rewatch this, because I think I might keep the DVD, is it's got a really relaxing soundscape, this whole episode. Like,
It does.
the sound of the seaside and that like constant Gregorian chant monk music
Yes.
in the distance. I had to rewind a few times because I did start kind of go, but not like in a boring way, just to kind of, I'm just very relaxed.
Yeah, I mean,
This
being
is nice.
hungover and being like,
Yeah.
this is.
I'm just being I'm just being so, but like there wasn't too much what you call it. It was all diegetic. It was all music that all the other characters could hear as well, and there wasn't that much stuff interfering, and that stayed pretty consistent. And I thought that was, I would stick it on in the background again just to have that soundscape. It was nice.
I do love that about 60s Doctor Who specifically, because it has a lot of like, it seems like especially sci-fi kind of sound design at that point in time was really kind of mad, could be quite psychedelic, experimental, but like you said, quite relaxing at the same time. It's all very soft and analog and and very nice. And that's generally how like the black and white ones as well just have a softness to them that's just like, I feel like black and white Doctor Who does outdoors in the studio better than colour does, because obviously you can hide a lot more. But something that I really loved, that it was like a sort of weird rear projection thing they were doing on the sky.
I took a note of the sky. I loved that, like the fake sky that in a sort of an arc.
Yeah,
it's just such a unique look, and really nice. I have to tell you what my very first note on episode 1 was.
Okay.
Which was the very first thing that happens in the episode. First thing, they're talking about assistants who have left because they're gone, they've had enough, they want to go home, and I just immediately felt we're in familiar territory here. Like the very first thing, assistants like, that's enough. We don't like Doctor Who.
Like the first thing that happens with it is it starts, she comes in and Doctor's like, listen, come on over, I want to talk to you about something. And what he means by that is he's going to sit down in his chair and she's going to kneel beside him. Like the power play. You don't have a chair, but come on over here.
There's only one chair in the TARDIS, so...
Could we not have done this over at the console where we were?
I sat down first, so you'll have to kneel this time.
You'll simply have to kneel.
You've got a young person's knees. You know what was fun about seeing it in the cinema, actually, is like seeing it with a packed out audience, was that it got a lot of laughs in the right places. Like everybody had exactly the same sense of humour about it. But what was also really weird, I'll just mention this briefly, but what was also really weird about it being in the cinema is obviously the technology was never meant to be on a gigantic screen, so you could see each individual line of resolution.
Oh, right, wow.
Wow. Blasted up into this massive cinema screen.
I did really like how snippy the Doctor was. That's in my notes here. He was much snippier than I'm used to, and I like that. But I like he was also a bit of a man of action when they weren't sure what was coming through the TARDIS door.
Oh yeah. Did he take his jacket off?
He takes his jacket off like
he's going to. She has her shoe ready.
Yeah,
and it really was like there's a burglar in the house, and we're just unprepared.
Not this fucking alien cyborg killing machine. He's just going to throw his jacket on. Other than that, really, I've got a whole little note was William Hartnell died in 1975. Good on him.
I've got here, space helmet for a cow got a proper laugh because of how annoyed he was. Like that's a funny line, but he doesn't deliver it like a joke. It's like he delivers it like a real prick. Like, we hate you, Stephen. You're an idiot. What do you think it is? A space helmet for a cow? You. And just like the total arsiness combined with the fact that it's, you know, that's a good joke, really made me laugh, caught me off guard.
I think that there's a lot in it that, again, like, and I'll talk about this in the second episode a lot more, but it speaks to the ability of people back then, because there was shit all else, to sit and watch whatever they were shown.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that, like, things like, you know, obviously the monk. And I've written in my notes here, that fucking monk.
Alternate title for the episode.
Like, he captures the Doctor, and that's how the episode ends.
Yeah.
But there's this really long, protracted shot of the Doctor looking raging that he's been caught. Because obviously they have to wait for the credits to go over it and all that. And it was like, but it lasts for ages. It's like that Total Jobs advert on YouTube. it's like, Granny, I got the job, and then just stares at the camera for like 30 seconds. But yeah, like it just there's so much of it that's just like I just love the idea that he's captured the Doctor, and the monk's laughing away, and the Doctor's going, "Oh, you, oh."
There is something like genuinely. I think it's. I don't know if it's just really condescending to say it, but like there's something that takes me by surprise when one of those old episodes gets me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, see when the monk chanting does the slowdown thing, you're like, oh,
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has because he has that little change in moment. It's like, right, what's going on here? But I also love how it's all going on inside his head. He doesn't he's not verbalizing it all the time. And then when he finds the record player, he just has a wee laugh. He's like, that's good.
Yeah.
This is good. It's like he's the audience going, oh shit, this is good, isn't it?
We give people in the past, especially on like a black and white thing, such little respect in that regard. Like if you something you go, oh, that was actually quite funny. You go, oh, that's actually, oh, you know what, that was actually pretty funny. You know?
Another thing I liked was the Doctor realizing that they've landed at a time where a battle is about to happen, and he's like, oh, brilliant, because once Stephen sees a Viking bloodbath, then he'll believe that the TARDIS is a time machine. Then I'll win.
Yeah. Not that I care whether he knows.
This is brilliant. We're going to be here while all those people are being hacked up, and then Stephen will be like, I have to give it to you. He's like, then we'll fucking.
I was reading a bit. I was reading on the wiki that apparently the bit when he starts talking about the William the Conqueror, I think it's the bit when he's like, "It's very, very interesting, very, very interesting," and that apparently he ad-libbed a bit of that, and that apparently the production staff had to be kind of just grateful that he managed to get all those lines out, because it was quite a lot for him to. I don't know if you noticed. I don't know how often he does it in the Time Meddler, but William Hartnell gets these lines wrong a lot. Like he's always calling characters by the wrong names, like getting the names slightly wrong. It sort of becomes a character quirk, but you can see he stumbles over the lines quite a lot. But because the way they film,
it becomes a character quirk on the wiki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because
where it all has to be explained.
For people watching at home, furious. Absolutely furious.
Because they were just battering through the filming. Like they had, like I think they filmed. They would film them in like a day or something. So they just had to be like, right, that's fine. Let's move on. I mean, presumably because they thought like we're just going to tape over this in a couple of weeks anyway. So it's probably fine. But yeah, I quite enjoy that as a character quirk.
Stephen jumps out of the bushes to assault a stranger, and he gets a well-deserved thump for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
very, very good.
He initiates that fight, and then gets hit over the head.
It goes down immediately. It's very good. Where he's just like, no, I'll go and get them. Hey, you, get back here, big chase. Then he gets his head kicked in. Like, brilliant. Good.
Comes back a bit. So let's jump on to episode 2. The Doctor's been captured, put in a prison cell, and we won't see him for the whole episode because the actor's on holiday.
Fucking
right.
hell.
But what we do see, Richie, is a lot of egg grease.
I was gonna say,
Let's talk about the egg grease for a few minutes.
Egg grease?
Sean?
the lovely breakfast at the start.
Oh.
Richie, you saw this 3 times.
It opens with the monk making a lovely breakfast.
Oh yeah.
And he puts the sausages on the pan, puts the eggs in the pan, and then gets the whole pan and pours the remaining grease all over the plate, like
all
a big
the
sauce.
pan
God,
grease.
yeah, there's some proper old man shit, isn't there? Is it episode 2 where he has the fucking snuff as well on the?
Yeah.
I actually got on my phone and just because while watching this, I did eventually have a thought like, what's the deal with snuff? And I just went on a Wikipedia rabbit hole. While the episode was playing, I was just on my phone looking up snuff.
Yeah.
So
I had a friend
with
who
snuff?
was into it, like reasonably into it. So I'd only see him every so often, and any time like, "You want to try some snuff?" And I'd be like, once I kind of figured out what it was, I was like, "Oh, what is that?" It's like,
Was it in the little like tiny tea bags?
no, he had a little tin of it that was loose,
Oh,
Yeah.
and you just like pinch it between your fingers and sniff it,
Now,
give it a good snort. It was rubbish.
I was going to say snuff. It was either terrible, or it ended up being really fucking bad for you. I mean, that must be the only two reasons.
Aye,
It doesn't.
I don't think it's great for you. No.
imagine every time those old men sneezed.
Oh, that was also when you blow your nose. You always got these kind of big black.
Was it tobacco?
Fuck knows, man.
Like, is it relaxing or is it stimulating? Is it like having a big coffee?
Well, from understanding is it's just like I was asking him what it's meant to do, and he's like, it's just nice. It was like
I
a
mean,
sort
a
of
cigarette up your nose would wake you up, wouldn't it?
yeah. I never saw the appeal of it. You know,
I'm more of an egg grease man.
more of a poppers guy.
But do picture me
Bit of
being
snuff
quite
and a big
hungover,
plate
and
of lard.
I hadn't had much to eat already, so that really made me hungry. And the egg grease looked great. I wanted that. And I was really raging at Doctor Who when he threw the breakfast back in his face. I was on the monk side from the start of the episode because I was like, he made you a nice breakfast. I don't care. I know you're in prison.
Yeah.
But it's not often that your captor will make you a nice breakfast.
It was a
No,
lovely
especially
big, on a tray and everything.
look at like the episode starts with him catching the toast as it pops out of the toaster.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, you never see toaster gags these days. You never get that. You never get the toast popping out into the air and someone grabbing it. Like, you never see that anymore. But when I was young, toaster gags day in, day out. But the fickle public these days would laugh at toaster
When you'd
gags.
go on Instagram reels when you were young, it would just be toast gag after toast.
Yeah, mostly toast gags.
Remember Vine? Just toast.
Toast popping up.
To bass boosted toast gags.
Yeah.
Now, Richie, I've got a production related question for you.
Okay.
So, the Meddling Monk, he's putting cigarettes up his nose on the hillside. And he takes out his spyglass and he looks out to sea, and he sees a Viking ship. And later, Vikings are walking up the hill. No shot of the Vikings getting off that ship.
Was that
Now,
a production snafu?
Now,
we just see the
hate
hook-
to.
The hook.
I mean,
coming
I
over
don't
the
want to
hill.
be the Stephen in the room and cast doubt over the good people at Doctor Who Productions. Was the shot of the Viking ship at sea perhaps sourced from elsewhere?
Oh, yes. I mean,
I was just, as soon as I saw that shot of like the beautiful boat out
Yeah.
at sea and then the shot of the people rowing, it's like, oh wow, I'm looking forward to the shot of them getting off that boat.
I've just remembered. Sorry, isn't there fucking loads of people on that? when
Yeah,
they have
and none of those
on?
incredibly conspicuous characters that land on the island can be seen on that quite open boat as well.
They were obviously below deck getting ready. And they were like, right, we'll jump off here. You go further down the coast.
I remember I was actually watching episode 2 with Sean, and when that shot of the Viking ship showed up, Sean said, "Oh, a second TARDIS."
Yeah.
So when I watched it, I did think when I watched it, I thought, Christ, I wonder what film that's from. But
Not enough to look it up.
it's on the DVD,
Oh,
so it's
What?
it's newsreel footage of a recreation. It's people doing a recreation of a Viking longboat.
So that's not from.
so
not
it's
back from
a
back
film.
then. But that's
So
a
the-
recreation.
I mean, what I mean is like they did it at like historical recreations, and the news just went out and filmed it, and that's what
They
the
made
footage
it
is
up.
from. But like when they were doing the restoration,
Debunked.
when they were doing the restoration for the DVD, they still had the 35mm print of the
I'm
newsreel,
glad.
so they were able to sort of.
So it doesn't turn out like the fucking X-Files Blu-rays when Mulder looks over at some hills.
Oh yeah.
And you can see fucking tracking. Oh, dearie me.
No. What's funny is that they had to smudge the footage up just to fit it with the rest of the.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's a
bit of egg grease.
Bit of egg grease.
The end something lying around, yeah.
So I mean, if you're interested, this episode.
Let's move on.
This episode, these stories were found.
Drop it.
These episodes were found in a. Well, actually, it didn't say it. Sorry, it doesn't say where they were. It just says they were found in Nigeria in 1985.
I was literally going to say like that newsreel footage was probably found in some Nigerian TV station.
No. The episode, they had the footage back home. They had the newsreel back home. The episode was found in Nigeria in 1985.
Yeah, you wouldn't tape over something as important as news footage.
I love the idea of the only thing they have is they've got the reels for the shot of the Viking ship, and you think, do you reckon we could put this out on a fucking Blu-ray? if we just remaster this one shot, will they buy it? And Richie, as a man who's now bought 4 or 5 copies of this, would you have bought it on that alone?
Probably, yeah. But worse.
Yeah. Put on a new special feature.
Yeah.
Right, let's see what's next.
I do have on mind to say I'm reminded as we spoke about in episode 1. I'm still kind of blown away by it. Like, you can have an entire. It must have lasted a good minute of that, like 25 minutes, was watching the monk delivering breakfast to the doctor. Like, not making the breakfast, literally lifting it out and waiting
Walking
outside the
way.
door. And I'm like, you could never do that now. Like, in terms of like just literally just watching a man walk up a corridor with a tray, put it out, put it down, knock on the all that stuff. You'd be like, all in one shot, no cuts. Beautiful, because again,
Cinema.
they had nothing else.
It was so funny.
It's like, if you don't like it, go outside. Yeah,
Play
see you
with the
there.
ball.
Sure thing.
When
What
we
are you
were
gonna do? Catch a cold?
at the end of the screening, they had a Q&A with Peter Purvis, who had a few things to say that were, yeah, he was fine. It was perfectly nice, but there was a few times that it bordered on partridge. There was some mild. I don't want to be mean, but there was a couple of times. But one of the things he said is he was saying that, like, you know, television's easy now. He says directors back in the day.
Someone didn't walk out.
I know. Directors back then, they had a room and they had to make the whole thing happen in one room, and the challenges they faced. And nowadays, is that he stopped short of saying they do it on computers now.
Today they have 2 rooms.
2 big rooms.
But I suppose my point with that really is it was still, for me, interesting and captivating as much as Doctor Who can be. Just doing that, I was quite happy sitting watching that. I wasn't bored, but it just struck
That
me
was
that
the stuff for me. All that.
yeah, it was like nice and calm and just, you know, low stakes. It felt like.
Yeah, once you settle into the patience of it, you're kind of, you know, you're either going to be bored or you're going to acclimatise to it pretty quickly and just be, this is.
You're
nice.
either going to be bored or a bit tired.
And sorry, not to get another unnecessary dig in, but like, it's all easy now, mate. You put in a bit from the news.
Couldn't be bothered your ass getting an actual long shit.
He based that is just gone YouTube to MP3 on Google. Just take that in.
Oh, rubbish. No more so than your theory.
So what happens next? The Vikings show up and they're like, right, we've got to be quiet. Just keep a low profile, so they can do a bit of investigating as to what's going on, and then immediately that they don't do any of that, which I'm assuming is a comment on what the Vikings were like. I don't know.
I do have it in my notes. I'd hate to be killed by a Viking.
Yeah.
Not interested.
Any?
Yeah, I think like the stuff that was going on around that, like I really did enjoy, like, and obviously we had the stuff before in the first episode, but the kind of subtle mystery building. You know, we're in 1066. The monk's built. You know, he's got a tea set and a toaster, and you know, and now he's got like binoculars, and he's using those. And you're like, what's this guy up to? What is this monk up to? He must also have. There must be some time traveling element to this guy. But then that's kind of scuppered a bit by the Vikings showing up and they batter some guy's wife, and then
Poor old Edith.
Yeah, but the thing I liked about that whole setup was when her husband comes back and he finds his wife's been battered, and his pal's like, "Told you, mate, didn't I? Didn't I tell you to be careful? Told you to be careful. Like, read the room."
Yeah.
Someone's just found their wife battered, and you're like, "I told you, mate."
Look,
Do you not maybe have? Do you have something to say to me?
Hellmend you.
Do you maybe have something you want to say to me?
The monk stuff is, the monk stuff is kind of, it is quite good because it's like because annoyingly going into that episode for me, I knew who the Meddling Monk was, and it's just one of those fucking sort of characters of Doctor Who. So it's annoying going in, but you try and sort of notice it from the point of view of someone watching it for the first time,
because he's not like doing it like looking over his shoulder, looking all around, taking the binoculars out and getting a wee peek through them and putting them away. He's doing it also matter of factly, like, this is just my stuff and I use it
Been
whenever.
doing this for ages.
Yeah, I've been doing this for ages. Like, I can look through these binoculars anytime I like.
he's very good as well. I really like.
I really enjoyed. I don't know if it's in that episode, but it's when whenever people come to visit the monk for guidance, or they kind of want to come in, I love stepping forward towards the camera, so his face is on screen, but he's facing away from them, and he's doing all the expressions like, "Am I getting away with it? Am I really getting away with this?" As I tell these lies, it's like, "Oh, I think your friend was here earlier, but he left 20 minutes ago." And then he turns around again. But I really love any of that, because just having the other characters small in the background looking at one another like, "But it wouldn't be like him to take 20 minutes ago." And he's like,
Yeah.
I'm the meddling monk. I'm the meddling monk.
It is this episode where we see the plan. Just my plan by the monk.
the meddling monk makes his plans like Dougal.
But I love how the very bottom point is meet King Harold.
Yeah, like, but like, because eventually he explains why he wants to do that, but it does sound like he just wanted to, because that would be good if I met King Harold.
There's a bit of that.
Just go see him.
Doesn't further his plan or anything. That's the goal. Is to meet King Harold. I do feel that when you see the plan, it's similar to the King's Demons that we watched, where you're like, so what if that happens? Well, you know, it'd be terrible, wouldn't it?
I know they do have that. They have that. I think it's in episode 4 where they have that little moment. It's like, oh, the history books will change and our memories will change.
It is.
What's great about the plan is that he pulls it down and crosses a thing off it, and there's like 6 things on there, and they're things that are they're such massive steps they'd have to be like months apart. It's like, you know, get back in time, right? Cool. Like, he needs to remember, like, go back, like, have I done? Right, I've gotten back in time. Put up the big gun. Right.
Buy first press share vinyls. Rubbing his
But like,
hands
I
together.
imagine him pulling it down every day and like going through with his finger each one, all the ones he's crossed. I was like, yeah, dude, that. Okay, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I'm done. I think I'm up to date now. Oh, I mean, obviously, this goes without saying that looks like living in the past was terrible.
Yeah.
If you had a frying pan, though, you could make breakfast.
It's true. I mean, if you had the technology of the Meddling Monk, maybe.
I want to mention when he says no more monkery,
Yep.
which feels like a good play on monkey business and being a monk.
I have to agree. I have no choice but to agree.
Just to bring us back on track there, and that's shortly before the reveal of TARDIS.
A TARDIS.
Yeah.
A TARDIS. Now, can you imagine being a kid and that happened?
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, I answered too quickly. No, I can't.
Well,
Can
Richie,
you imagine being a kid and you find a TARDIS?
You know, you watched like I don't
You'll be
know.
glad to know that I did have no idea going in that there
That's
was
good.
any kind of I assume this is the Master.
No.
Is it not?
I was waiting on that happening by the time we
I
got
thought
to the
this
last
was like the
episode.
first.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of a similar idea, but it's not. The Master wasn't created until like John Pertwee.
Oh,
I was very much waiting on that. I was saying to Lindsay, watch this by episode 4, that'll be the Master. Because I get caught out so much in the King's Demons, and it's so I feel daft thinking about it now because it was so fucking obvious. But yeah, so this will be it.
Have you seen? There's an amazing comic strip, and it's the Master wearing like a big red nose, a fake moustache, and a pair of glasses, and it's him meeting the Fifth Doctor, and he says, "Hello, I'm Professor Masterson." And then there's a pause in the middle pause in the middle panel, and then it's the next panel is like the Fifth Doctor going, "Pleased to meet you."
Yeah, that's how I felt I was in that King's Demons. Everyone's like, did you not notice he looked weird? That he looked just like he was obviously had loads of prosthetics and makeup on. I didn't.
You were just watching old telly and you thought there must have been.
That's nice they gave that guy a role in TV, considering.
Does it feel strange for you, Richie, watching a scene where the Doctor is telling the Meddling Monk, you can't mess around with the things that happen in time and history? You can't do that. Does that feel a bit rich?
Well, I mean, obviously there's a few things, because obviously with hindsight there's a couple of things that you're just like, but like obviously not obvious to you, but the second Doctor in his last story gets pulled back to his home planet. At this point it's still not named, and he gets put on trial for interfering, and then he gets forced to regenerate, and that's how he ends up exiled on Earth,
Right.
as John Pertwee. So obviously when the first Doctor's saying it, maybe it's early days, but he's definitely been running about doing plenty. But I guess the whole thing with the monk is that he's trying to make big changes rather than. But yeah, you're right. It is a bit rich.
That's all we wanted to hear.
Thank you.
And
Before
you not got something to say to us?
Because finding the TARDIS is where 3 ends. The third episode ends
Yes.
there, didn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
The big twist is like, he's got a TARDIS.
Well, before we get started on episode 4, we need to take a little break.
Okay.
Play a little game.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Okay.
Nice.
So
Everybody wake up.
We're going to play a little game called Who Am I Thinking Of? Alright, music. Get some quiz music.
Doctor Who.
Oh no, this one's never going to come out now.
So, I'm gonna in each round I'm gonna name 3 options, and
Okay.
I want you to buzz in and tell me who I'm thinking of.
Okay.
And there's a few ground rules. You must let me read every option before you buzz in, and you can buzz in by saying your name.
Okay.
And there'll be 3 options. Okay, you ready
Okay.
for?
Okay.
Ready
Sean,
for
I'm
this?
ready.
Okay.
Hit me.
Who am I thinking of? Is it A, the monk, B, the assistant character, C, Doctor Who?
Okay.
Gavin,
Go on.
Oh.
you're thinking. You're thinking about the monk.
No, I'm afraid it's not the monk.
Owen,
Owen?
the assistant.
I'm afraid Owen is not the assistant character. That is correct, Richie. Well done.
Nice. Well done.
I was closer than Gavin, though.
Good game. Well done, Richie.
We can move on to episode 4.
Well, before we go on to episode 4, things that I really, really liked about episode 3 that I've got still in my notes. The idea of the Doctor threatening to beat up the monk with a stick.
Oh, yeah.
Holding it to him like it's a gun.
Yeah.
And the monk being like, I'm easily 30 years younger than you. We're so close, you couldn't use that as a weapon. Yeah, he's still like, alright.
Did I read that right? Was he prodding it into his back and being like, this is a gun?
Yeah.
Man.
He's like, I've got
gun on you.
I can't remember what gun he says, but he's like, I've got a shotgun in your spine.
He does say spine. That was kind of quite visceral when he said that.
Yeah. But it
Shoot
just
this right through your spine.
It made me think how good it would be to have been a corrupt monk back then.
Yeah.
Got the run of the place, mate.
All that
absolute
wine.
run of the place. All that wine.
Imagine we're one of the Buckfast monks.
Oh, don't.
Please don't suggest that any of the Buckfast monks would ever be corrupt.
No, definitely not. I also have, just at the end of my notes, it says, the monk has a TARDIS. This is the most exciting thing to ever happen to me.
Well, again, of course, at that point, the whole
I wrote TARDIS with 4 exclamation marks, as you can see here.
I did also have CAD vial written down.
As in a vial, right? Okay, I've got it.
You know, like CAD file, the monk, but he's vile.
Funnily enough, CAD file ended up being the master.
Well, there we go. It all comes crashing around our ears, doesn't it?
Yeah. At this point, the whole point of the character of the Doctor is that he's mysterious. You don't know what he is, who he is, where he's from.
Yeah, Gavin.
Stuff.
Yeah, sorry.
So when you see another TARDIS, you'd be like, what?
No, absolutely. Again, something that had never been introduced before. You had no concept there could be other TARDI.
Also,
it's a shame that some people would miss the point.
Yeah.
Especially when kids get it.
Episode 4. Checkmate.
Richie, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Were the credits redone for the DVDs?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know about the ones that are mixed with the picture. But there's a lot of stabilization that went on and things like that as well. Like there's if you're in any way interested, there's like a few comparisons on the DVD with them. So basically, when they finished filming an episode, right, when they had the tape, they had the episode on tape, right, and then what they did is that they placed a film camera in front of a monitor. They played the videotape, filmed the monitor with the camera, and then sent the film reels overseas for syndication, right? Oh, Jesus. You can't see what's going on here.
Sorry, keep going.
So when
Annoyingly, this is exactly the kind of thing I am interested in. But Gavin was being very funny on the video.
Sorry, everybody. Please continue, and I'll stand stop.
No more monkery.
So
Gavin,
because the tapes were very expensive, they played the tapes on a monitor. They filmed it with I think it was a 60mm camera. Created film prints of them, and then sent those prints overseas. And a lot of the episodes that we got back were filmed off the television. And so because old video back then is all like, it's different from film basically. The technology is quite different, so you get quite a different picture. So the picture's all wobbly and thingy, and so the Doctor Who restoration team, who seem to be sort of technical geniuses with this stuff because they invented most of this stuff, they created a process in which film could be converted back into video, and you don't really appreciate how well the process works until you see a comparison of the two. But anyway, so that's what. So it's got changed back to its original. The stuff that honestly, some of this, I mean, it's interesting to me because I'm that sort of person. But some of the stuff that the restoration team have done is just insane. It's like magic. Anyway, so yeah, there was a lot of wobbliness, and that's why you see, you know, a lot like the Blu-ray that's coming out. From what I've seen on the cinema screen is even better. So,
I genuinely, like, my friend of mine is into, like, he's restoring like old like kids TV shows, things like Captain Pugwash, etc., things that were filmed.
All right,
like
okay.
stop motion stuff, and the painstaking amount of work that goes into frame by frame going in and cleaning up things, and like it's an unreal amount of work, and I can only imagine the stress of doing that with so many eyes on it.
Yeah, I mean, because they're you're talking about like but there's about 100 missing episodes, but every episode exists as an audio recording, and those audio recordings were made generally sometimes like from different methods, but sometimes it's literally just holding a tape recorder up to the speaker, and it's like, so they now have an audio archive of all of it just because of these people doing that. And so what they then do is they just collect all these bits and sort of put them together. There's bits of Doctor Who that are literally just someone filming their television with a Cine 8 camera.
Oh, wow. I didn't know there was that many episodes missing as well. I thought, like, if you're to ask me like how many episodes were missing, I'd be like, I don't know, 8.
No, 100.
Jinx.
It's like, because the
lot of opportunities for animators though.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, that's the. Do you know the most amazing thing? Sorry, I'll just say about the restoration team is that they did. They wanted a lot of the John Pertwee stories when they got them back were in black and white, so they had to recolor them, which is why things like Inferno looked the way it did and all that. But somebody one of the members of the team watching the black and white print noticed that the information for the colours was still in the picture. So they were able to look at the way the dots were lined up in the picture and then be like, that's that colour, that's that colour.
Oh, that's
and then they
cool.
wrote software that ran through it, and then it sort of restored something like 40, maybe half the colour, and then they sort of electronically colorized the rest of it. But
that's amazing though.
Mental. It's like it's like magic.
So is this is the Meddling Monk, the recent one? Is that a restoration, or is it have the original film reel that they've just?
What the one that's coming out in the Blu-ray?
Yeah,
that's. I mean, they're still working from the same source. So it's those. They would have got those old prints, scanned them in, cleaned them up. They call it the vidfire process, where they turn it back into videotape, and then they would have a.
So, but it's not like a true film source. There's probably none of those left.
Yeah, that's right. Because that, like I said, the original sources were tapes, and the tapes were too expensive to keep.
If only we had a real-time machine.
It's a shame you can't just crash and out on that. Doctor.
I'm just picturing the monks' mad list of stuff, and the last one is just like watch episodes of Doctor Who.
Enjoy Doctor Who.
Son of a bitch.
It's a TARDIS. The monk's got a TARDIS.
Episode 4 is called Checkmate.
Mm-hmm.
My first note here is, why is the monk letting the Doctor push him around? Shouldn't he just stave his head in? Anytime there's an interaction between the two, why doesn't the monk simply kill the Doctor? He's willing to create this situation where people are butchered. Like
the monk. I mean, to give you an actual answer, I feel it's because the monk's quite weaselly and won't do anything like that himself. He'd maybe do it if his back was turned, but he wouldn't.
Good luck catching the Doctor with his back turned.
Yeah.
But they'll just have a load of regenerations on his hands, like hack, hack, hack. Oh, jeez.
Oh god, it's this guy in a leather jacket now.
Oh yeah, eventually, like he hacks him enough that he regenerates as like a guy tough enough to like grab the axe.
I was
Like,
going to say.
What do you think you're doing, asshole? Question about the Doctor himself in this. Does this Doctor have fangs?
I was very
I
interested
was
in
wondering.
his teeth.
Yeah.
Fangs.
Very interested.
Very
he's-
interesting teeth. It's like
Oh.
he does. Feels like he's got little fangs,
He's just
like
got
Dracula might.
He's just got old man teeth, doesn't he?
It's very good though. Imagine them being sunk into someone's tender flesh.
Yeah.
Imagine that, if you will.
I don't think canonically the Doctor has fangs. No.
Okay. Could be a Gallifreyan thing. You know, 3
This
hearts, 2
one-
fangs.
This one had a lot of fights, a lot of group fights, a lot of one-on-one fights.
Good stage fighting.
Wasn't quite the Northman, but still pretty good.
Did you notice there's a gap? There's a bit missing
Oh,
in the episode. So do you know when the monks
context?
got the Vikings?
What do you mean,
with them?
episode 2, where they forgot to put Doctor Who in it?
No. So the monk's got the Vikings, and he's like, "There's a well over there. Go and hide over there." And then he buggers off in the other direction, and he comes back. There's no well here. And then the gang sort of surround them, and then it just fades out. There's 12 seconds missing where they get sort of thrown down to the ground and stabbed to death.
Oh.
Poor Sven and Bjorn.
The
I thought that was just for like the fact that that's not something you would show.
I know. No, they they get basically. So in the notes, I think it's what I think they have sacks of hay or something that they use as the close-ups, and they just run a knife into it.
Oh, wow.
They faded out, Gavin, because back then they used to actually just kill people.
It was cheaper than hay back then.
Yeah.
But what was it? What was what was fun is that they've in the one I went to see in the cinema that's coming out in the Blu-ray in a few weeks. Somebody's recreated it. Except they didn't recreate it with the they done their own version of stabbing men, and then
They just
apparently
killed a guy.
They filmed it in 4K and then dirtied the footage right down so that it sort of sits in amongst it. I think they used the original audio, but yeah,
Real death.
Because basically they would have sent it overseas and someone would have watched it and went, "No, cut that out. That's too much."
There was a couple of shots of whenever, they'd be standing around chatting going, "Oh, those Vikings are going to show up pretty soon," and like you can tell they're just standing next to them in a bush because there's not a lot of room to run in. So like the shouting for the invading group doesn't fade in. It's just sudden and there was something about it that really looked like kind of a crystal maze. Like and they just walk in.
But it is wonderful, isn't it, knowing that the show has cultivated such a passionate fan base that they'll go above and beyond in ways that you would never even imagine. Like, what other fan base would make a snuff film just to replace 12 seconds of lost footage that is not necessary for the
what was so funny about the Peter Purvis Q&A is he did say I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something along the lines of it's like, yeah, I mean, it's very impressive, but it wasn't necessary.
Amen.
No need.
You should get him on this.
Oh, he was brilliant.
Did anyone notice Stephen's trousers in this episode?
No.
Stephen's trousers have pockets on the front that are made like pockets you'd get on the arse of trousers.
Oh, really?
Right.
Like the perfect U shape.
Yeah, like that. And they've got the fold over bit and the little button.
It looks like he's wearing trousers back to front sort of
It
thing.
looks like he's basically wearing his trousers back to front.
But just in this episode.
I'll be honest, I didn't go back to check.
Speaking of the fashions, I did like everybody getting a cloak.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody's got a cloak.
Yeah. Why are you getting a cloak? I want a cloak.
The costume department knew what they were doing. We've got a tall order here, boys. We're going to need every cloak you've got. Tell EastEnders to fuck off.
No cloaks this week.
Tell the Jack the Ripper story. They're not going to have their cloaks.
You're joking.
No cloaks.
Everybody's going to know who he is.
It must have been weird seeing EastEnders without cloaks.
So, the Doctor basically condemns another time traveller to live in 1066.
What do you think of his method, though? I think it's great.
Just leaving him a letter.
I don't know about that actually. Is this where that comes? Like, when people get confused about calling him Doctor Who, does that come from him, Simon? Because he signs the letter from Doctor Who on the envelope.
Yeah,
Does he?
it's like, yeah, it says
Yeah?
Doctor
Yeah, I
Who
thought that
at
was
the end,
weird.
Yeah. I didn't even want to bring that
as
up
well.
because I was like, I knew
Holy
it was
shit.
just a thing that people get confused about. But yeah, it's signed Doctor Who.
That's. I'll have to go back. I didn't even realize. Holy shit! So he signs it. Yeah, it's not meant to be his name. I mean, there's a couple.
It just says the monk, Doctor Who.
There's a couple of times, obviously, in the show's history that it will come up, but
Yeah, I have it here. I wrote down, did you notice the letter to the monk was signed Doctor Who? They probably wouldn't do that now.
Well, you don't.
What's he done? He's taken my dimensional control. He's ruined my time machine. I'm marooned. Marooned! In 1066.
yeah.
The other thing they wouldn't
So
do,
it's the show's fault.
the monk uses the word marooned. I'm marooned. You never hear marooned these days.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Well, it's a nautical show. You know?
Yeah,
Sea based, yeah.
it's so sea-based. He's marooned.
They've ruined my boat, so now I'm marooned.
Honestly, I thought that was fucked up. What he did with that man.
It is a bit. I do love the little TARDIS.
It's great.
Yeah.
Like,
Poke
that
his head
really
in.
was like big smile on my face. Like, that is so good, and I love that it got to be a reveal. Like, we know that he's doing the thing. He's pulling out the part,
Yeah.
but he doesn't actually say, because he's just like, stand back, and he pulls out the block, and he's
Yeah.
like, well, that ought to do it. And you just assumes like, oh well, he's pulled out the engine block,
Yeah.
so
the battery.
he's taking the battery out of the TARDIS. So then when you get to see and it's like, great.
There was a
Cut the
kind
wire.
of...
It's
I've
such
cut
a-
the wire that keeps it from being mad small.
It's such a it's such a simple visual effect as well, but it's so effective and
Yeah.
very good. But yeah, there's something very. But I guess it sort of plays into that kind of impish nature of the character again as well.
No, I think the ending of it really reminded me of things like, like in the Twilight Zone, the old Twilight Zone, and things like that. Like we had the Burgess Meredith episode, that bleakness of the guy who always wanted to spend time reading, and then the world blows up, and he's left with all his books, and then his glasses break, and he's
Glasses
like,
break, yeah.
and you're like, but it's that same kind of melancholy ending to it, where you're like, you don't deserve this fate. Luckily, when Doctor Who leaves in the letter, it's like, I'll come back and get you when you've had enough time to think about it. And you're like, I wonder if he ever did. Do you think the Meddling Monk ever came back?
The monk does come back the following year, but unfortunately the episodes are missing. I think.
Oh.
He comes back for the Dalek Master Plan. He's in a couple episodes or an episode. I've never seen the Dalek Master Plan because it doesn't exist.
Fucking hell.
We didn't mention the Doctor drinking mead.
Oh, yeah.
I'm liking it.
Is the Doctor having a little drink? Is that a rarity?
He's always having a, especially that. He's always having a wee drink.
Okay. Little
All
Santa
right.
Claus. Just a little sip.
Have I told you about the one of the episodes where they get to the end of it and just off? I don't know if it's off script, but he just turns to the camera. They're all having, because it's the episode's going out at Christmas. They just have a bit at the end. We're like, let's have a drink, and then he turns around to the camera and he's like, and says Merry Christmas to everyone at home.
Oh. That's nice.
It's just
Is
like
that nice?
old telly.
Yeah.
Bring that back.
Yeah.
And if anyone complains, say, fucking cheer up, will you?
Aye.
It's fucking Christmas. Just tell us the BBC released a statement. It's fucking Christmas.
Calm down.
It's
was
fucking
never-
made up.
it was
He's
never
in a
meant to
fucking
cause-
box. He goes
We're-
to space in a box. Shut up.
We put this on so you can have a drink and your kids can fucking sit there and watch it. You shouldn't be watching it.
And just be like, oh, did you? No, we're taking the complaint seriously. We've heard that you didn't like it, so we're not making any more.
All right.
Are you happy?
all right.
You happy?
That's,
No more Doctor Who because you don't like it.
God,
Oh, what are you going to
it-
complain about now, you little?
It would be funny, wouldn't it, if they just turned around and went, "Well, look, if you don't like it, we're going to stop making it." No, Denny, no.
Oh no. So that is as much as anyone could talk about the Meddling Monk's adventures, I feel.
So yeah.
But I do have a question for you.
Okay.
Oh,
Would you like a little bit of fun?
Oh, absolutely.
please.
Okay, because I know this has been a real pill.
It feels like Christmas now.
Yep.
How exciting!
I've created a game. You can choose, Richie, it's your show, you get to choose the name of the game.
Okay.
Now, my game is called either Gallifrey for Pay or Gallifrey Your Cards Right.
Let's go
Richie,
for
please.
Gallifrey. Your cards right.
This is Gallifrey for Your Cards Right. Okay. Over the 30-year history of Doctor Who, many actors have graced that coveted role of the Doctor. Dozens, if you want to be that way about it. And that's the good thing about doing something for the Doctor Who community. You know people want to be like that about it. But what about when the spotlight fades and the Doctor is replayed by another actor? Do the previous participants fade into obscurity? Of course not. They head to Cameo. Cameo is a website where you can have celebrities record you a special message, for a fee of course. Whether you'd like to have one of the past Doctors wish your cousin a happy birthday, or indeed say ooh ah up the rah, Cameo has you covered. So I'm going to give you the names of folks who have appeared in Doctor who are available on Cameo, not just Doctors, because I quickly realised a lot of them are either dead or wouldn't be seen dead on Cameo. I'll start you off with an actor and their price per video, then it's up to you to tell me whether the next one I reveal charges more, less, or the same as the previous one.
This is good. This is good.
Absolutely excellent stuff here, Gavin.
So I'll start you off with an actor and their price. Terry Molly, known for his stints as Dalek Overlord Stavros.
Malloy.
He charges £59
Okay.
for a cameo. You can get to say whatever you
I
like.
can't believe I allowed myself to correct you, even though I know you're bullshit. Like,
It's Stavros. So he's £59.
Mm-hmm.
Daphne Ashbrook, who played companion Grace to the 8th Doctor. Now, does she charge more, less, or the same as £59?
this is
Owen.
this is good.
Do we each?
In fact, yeah, I'll bring up the thing and I'll get your scores. So yeah, everyone can guess.
Well, Owen's gonna say more.
More, okay?
I mean, I would say that I wouldn't pay more for Daphne Ashbrook, but I'm going to say she is more.
And Sean.
I'm going to say less just to get the point.
Well, Sean, you did exactly that because she charges only £40.
Wow.
See?
That's right. Grace herself, you could get a message from Grace for £40. Next up, Gareth David Lloyd, who played Ianto Jones in Torchwood.
Mm-hmm.
Does Ianto charge more, less, or the same as £40?
I'm going to go more.
More.
Oh, it's like jump for my love. Can you edit that together? You all get a point there. He charges a mere £2 more at £42.
Oh.
I'm going to take 1 point each.
Only £2.
Next up, Sylvester McCoy.
Ooh, the big guns.
Does Sylvester McCoy charge more, less, or the same as £42?
More.
I'm going to say Sylvester McCoy's up at like 70 or 75 or something. So I'm going to say more.
Okay.
More.
You all get another point. He charges £109 minimum.
£109
Oh, fuck off.
for a cameo from...
I mean, that is perfectly reasonable. Thank you, Sebastian.
Thank you for your service.
Next up, Colin Baker. Does Colin Baker charge more, less, or the same as £109?
Less.
I feel like if Colin Baker knew that Sylvester McCoy was getting more than him, though, I'm going to say less. I'm going to say less. I'm going to say less.
Less.
I'm afraid he charges the same as Sylvester McCoy, £109.
I knew it. I should have...
Dirty bastard.
And you get nothing for a pair. Not in this game.
See, Sylvester has the Hobbit edge to him.
Well, that's what I thought, but then... Yeah.
He's got the Hobbit edge to him,
edge.
doesn't he?
I'm just thinking of the edge.
Next up, the edge.
Playing the Hobbit.
Next up, Ross Mullen, who portrayed the Silence. Does he charge more or less than £109 per
Less.
message?
Way less. So much less. He's got to be the least out of all of them.
I'm gonna say less, and also point out that every time I look at Cameo, he is. I see that every time, and every time I think,
Who's asking? If you're listening, Ross Mullen, no offence, but you get it.
Yeah.
and please write in.
He's like when your pals are like, we'll get my Doctor Who cameo, and they jump on, they're like, I'll get him.
29 quid? Okay. Okay, yeah, we haven't revealed yet, so we've all said less.
Yeah.
Less.
It is less. Ross Mullen charges £29, as I've just said.
That's a bit much.
It's a bit much. Next up, Billy Piper. That's right, Rose Tyler herself.
Is Billy Piper on cameo?
She is.
Wait, is she just going to be more or less than the Silence Boy?
£29.
Yeah, she's going to be more or
You've
less.
No, it's
lost
gonna be more.
Richie's full attention for the rest of the show.
I'm sorry, I mentioned Billy Piper.
More.
Sean?
I'm just trying to read you the same.
I'm afraid it's not the same. It's more. Billy Piper charges £210 for a cameo.
Well, that's the same.
And finally, as a grim finale,
£210 to get a video.
from Billy Piper, but she'll say "ooh up the ra."
That's true.
She has to.
She's legally bound.
Why do you think she charges so much money?
Because she wants to.
Yes. Sorry. Okay.
Oh, excellent. Last one. One John Barrowman. Still has the fucking brass neck to be on cameo.
I fucking hate John Barrowman, man.
Now, does he charge more or less than Billy Piper?
Oh,
God, less.
God.
At £210.
Even with his ego, less.
This truly could go either way.
What if
I mean,
pulled?
because if I open up Cameo now and saw John Barrowman £500, would I be surprised, or would I just go, yeah,
that's our John.
Oh,
I think it is more. I think it's more. I can really see it.
I'm gonna say more, hoping that I'm wrong.
Okay. That means that Richie is our winner, as John Barrowman only charges £168 per cameo.
Oh, so he's more than Sylvester McCoy.
More than Sylvester McCoy. He's the second highest on the list.
Right, the brass neck on him. I love that.
I like that
and
nobody does a sorry, no offense, John Barrowman. It's like, fuck off, man. But your man who was the Silence, you're all right, man. Like, honestly.
As far as we know.
True enough. He might have been like they might have been a gruesome twosome. The two.
What's the guy? What do you call your man that plays Mickey Smith?
Oh, Noel Clark.
He's still on Cameo, and he's a bad bastard. So,
Oh dear.
you know,
How much is he?
he wasn't that much. He was like in the 60s.
Oh, okay.
Does the silence guy wear his mask?
I
What, in
would
the
like
video?
to think it's at least in the background.
Maybe he's got like a customized Instagram filter.
he just puts on the filter, then says "fuck all."
Points at you.
But thank you all for playing my game.
Gavin, thank you so much. That was a wonderful game.
It was very good. That was a really good game. Thank you.
I would hate to have to try and follow that. Everybody shut the fuck up because it's time for Owen's quiz.
Wow.
Got good names for our
Hey,
games.
shut the fuck
so
up.
Okay, I've opened up the sheet. Everybody shut the fuck up. It's time for my game. In episode 3, we saw the Meddling Monk using a humble Bic pen, a rare sight in 1066 and no mistake. If you've ever written yourself a note to remind you when to leave out the bins, or a passive-aggressive reminder to your workmates that pubes belong in the bathroom sink, not the communal kitchen sink, then the chances are you've used a Bic pen too. But how much do you know about the Bic pen? It's time to play True or False with a Whovian twist. I'm going to read out some statements relating to Bic pens, and you're going to tell me if they're Truvian or false with a Dalek voice. Question 1. Well, it's not a question, it's a statement. The Bic ballpoint pen was invented by Frenchman Marcel Bic in 1950, and he dropped the H to discourage people from referring to them as the bitch pen.
Richie? That's Truvian.
He's right.
Wow.
Hang
That's
on,
a good one.
It's like the bit.
You don't have a pen.
I want a
Has anyone
pinch pen.
I've got my Bic pen here. Hang on. I will.
It's so easily done. It's a good
God,
idea.
imagine
on
what
his
school
part.
would have been like.
Exact. It's like those at office supplies, Rapesco,
Yeah.
and everyone says Rapesco. You're like, can't do that.
No.
Richie has a point. 2. A Bic ballpoint pen can be used in an emergency to keep a patient breathing with a makeshift tracheostomy.
Gavin,
Oh,
Gavin?
100% Truvian.
Gavin, I'm sorry, it's false with a Dalek voice. I mean, it's pretty much false. It's one of those things. They'll go under such incredibly impossible circumstances, maybe, sort of, but no,
How
you
many-
can't actually do it.
So
So
how
there's a
many
chance?
horrible accidents have there been in the world?
It's like, I've seen this
Because
in
of
a
that.
film, watch this.
Bosh.
Okay.
If you say boish as you put it in,
Did he say boyish? He did, and it's still... Oh. The Bic ballpoint pen is the world's best-selling pen, with the 100 billionth sold in 2006.
Sean.
Sean?
False with the Dalek voice.
Sean, I'm sorry, but it's Truvian.
I mean,
fuck.
Next. In 2006, I saw the headline informing me that Bic had sold their 100 billionth pen. I then relayed this information to a friend via text message, who simply replied, "So?" which I had no answer for, leaving me feeling awkward and a little upset. True or false?
Richie, that's Truvian.
No, it's false, obviously. Since 1968, each Bic pen lid has a hole at the end of it, allowing leaking pens to stain pockets they are hidden in. This was a way to prevent spies from concealing pens on their person they may be using to take notes with.
Right. Gavin.
Gavin?
That's false in a Dalek voice.
Gavin, you are correct. That little hole at the top of a pen lid is a choking prevention thing.
It's for tracheotomies.
Oh, for people who put it in their mouth?
If you swallow it, it won't block your throat up so much. But it also does mean that a leaking pen will stain you.
Rough with the smooth, isn't it?
We all know and love the fat blue 4-in-1 clicky Bic pen today, first introduced in 1969. But originally it only became a hit because of an unexpected demographic. Women with long nails who would use the chubby pen as a finger with which to use rotary phones.
Ooh.
Richie.
Oh, damn it, I forgot my name.
Truvian.
I'm afraid it's false with a Dalek voice, but what a good lie.
That's a very good lie. It's very well done.
Next, the ballpoint itself was made... Richie, please.
Sorry.
We've got another 25 of these. The ballpoint itself was made from stainless steel until 1961. It was then changed to tungsten carbide, which is made from fusing carbon and tungsten together at a heat of a whopping 2000 degrees Celsius. This chemical compound is almost as hard as a diamond.
Gavin.
Gavin?
It's Truvian.
It is Truvian.
Oof.
Now, Gavin's won, but do you still want the tiebreaker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The standard
Whoever
Bic...
gets this wins.
Whoever gets this wins, yeah.
I agree. The standard Bic pen comes in 4 colours. Blue, black, green and red. But which is the most popular colour in the United Kingdom? I'm going to get everybody's answer.
Blue.
Richie's going with blue.
Blue.
Sean's going
I have
blue.
I have to say black just in case. There's a lot riding on this.
Gavin's saying black.
It's red,
It's the black pen. So, Gavin romps home. Thank you all for playing my great Bic pen
Great
quiz.
big
That
game.
was
That was a
that
great
ties
Bic
in
game.
to
was
Doctor
good.
Who very well, I think.
Yep, that was an excellent game. Thank you for bringing it.
I had a bit where I was going to read some letters from what was pissing Doctor Who fans off when Sean was born.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
let's hear it.
cool.
So I looked up because I looked up the issue of Doctor Who magazine from when closest to when Sean was born, and
Which was?
issue 197.
And when was I born?
February. I've forgotten already. February 93.
Yeah.
The Battle of Hastings.
1066. Okay, so this letter is from Ian Scales, from Sittingbourne in Kent. So at this point in time, Doctor Who's off the television, right? It's not been on TV for 4 years. It is also the 30th anniversary year, and at this point, Doctor Who is continuing in a series of novels being published by Virgin.
Better days, huh?
called
Yep.
The Doctor Who, the New Adventures.
I feel like
So
Virgin
anyway.
really got it, you know.
So Ian has a bit of a problem. I am relieved to see that it isn't just me who is concerned about the continuing trends in the New Adventures series of books. Both T.K. Howe's letter in DWM 194, Gary Russell's review of Transit DWM 195 mentions areas of the books which trouble me. If the insertion of swear words, violence and sex is some attempt to make the stories more adult, then I suggest the words childish and puerile spring more readily to mind. Also, the recurring ludicrous New Age themes of patterns and priests losing their faith almost makes one wonder if Virgin have recruited all these writers from some occult New Age group Why do all these books contain such similar philosophies? Off the Shell, DWM195 states that some people may see transit as the last straw. To be frank, I think we're seeing the end of the real Doctor, who we once loved to see, hear, and read about.
Sobering stuff.
That sounds great.
Sobering stuff. You know, I can't genuinely have too much of a... I can't look down my nose too much at these people, because looking back, I had a letter printed in Spawn.
Oh yeah.
Image Comics Spawn, where I told them that if they didn't get Spawn back to its roots, they may be losing a reader.
I once wrote to Doctor Who magazine to say, why isn't this encouraging people to go to mass more?
Why are people swearing? I mean,
It is.
Did you just say he doesn't like patterns? Just patterns.
I think we had enough patterns, thank you. It's nice to hear that stuff, because the way this kind of thing is framed online now makes it feel like this is all kind of new and everyone's getting more miserable and negative, and like, why can't, we used to just enjoy this stuff. But just these reminders that people were absolutely like writing in to say, well, that's Doctor Who's finished. I mean, it is finished. You're reading about it in books, mate. It's finished. It's done. And if you're and to think that it's already, gone, and what they're left with is like, look, if you really love Doctor Who, there's going to be this little thing here for you to keep you going. And then try to write in is like, no, I'm afraid that's just not cricket.
It's just...
I've got another one here. This one's upset about something else entirely. So this one's from Derek. Well, no, right, okay. It says Derek and Claire Chedsey from Bristol.
Chedsey.
I don't know if it is going to be... Is it really the two of them? Anyway, as usual, Doctor Who fans are not satisfied. I, for one, am fed up with the complaints about UK Gold and BBC Video. I have never seen any William Hartnell stories, so I think UK Gold is brilliant. For me, these are new Doctor Who adventures. The UK Gold logo is tiny, and while there are adverts and the end credits are shrunk, at least the story is complete. We should be grateful for any Doctor Who. Some so-called fans only want New Who and nothing else will do. Yes, it would be great, but unless we support UK Gold, the BBC Two repeats and BBC Video, we will end up with no Doctor Who at all. Why can't fans write letters of support instead of complaining about everything the BBC do?
So at the same time, it's also a shame to hear from these people who are like, get down on your knees. You should be lapping the piss off the boots of the beat for even granting you the...
Does the Doctor Who magazine reply to these letters?
Sometimes some of them have responses, but the two that I've read don't.
They've written loads of really good
lyrics. Make of that what you will.
In there by accident. New Who and nothing else will do Who.
Well, I say boo hoo.
I love that that's written by Derek and Claire. The two of them sat down together.
Yep. Both hands.
So Derek was definitely saying, do you mind if I put your name in this? Because I want this to be from both of us. I don't mind, but do you have to?
Or Derek was dictating.
I like to think that he used the Bic 4-colour pen and say, like, so the blue parts are from Claire.
I mean, it's a great thought.
I've only just copped that I've written a load of the notes for today on the same sheet as just a load of work stuff. And if someone ever discovers this diary, it's episode 2 Stitch doesn't have finished audio. We'll look at next week. Wednesday 3 p.m. Call with such and such. Who am I thinking of? The monk, the assistant character, Doctor Who, New Who, and nothing else will do. Who, director, 2 board artists, 4 weeks.
That's what Doctor Who does to you, man.
Okay, well, let's bring it to a close. Did you enjoy the Time Meddler?
Nah. No, I did. It won me over by the end, and I was, I did enjoy it. It was a good. It's not like the kind of Tom Baker episodes where I thought I'll watch more of that. I don't feel that with this Doctor, but I did enjoy it.
Okay.
I also enjoyed it. It was great to see, like, true classic old original Who, and to see that it was already like this.
Yeah.
And no, I like, it's just got that thing that seems to happen with older Who, where it does have a great setup, and I love the conclusion, but there's undeniably a bit of faffing about.
Yeah, there always is.
But like, all the times that the plot was moving forward, I really liked, and there was lots to enjoy. Especially the Meddling Monk, his performance was enjoyable the whole time. I mean, I don't think there's anyone else in it who I would have enjoyed watching just sit on a cliffside and
having a bit
shove
of snuff
up his nose and not really do
Make
a
a bit
lot.
of breakfast.
I didn't mention when it happened, but I really like when everyone decides to storm the church, and he just stands behind the door as they all run in, and it's like, this is a Monty Python joke that they're just trying to sell as something that's happening in a drama. So he's outwitted them. They're all just gonna run in a perfect row, and he's just gonna slip out. But yeah, the Meddling Monk himself was great. Episode 1, all the creepy stuff, like with the chanting slowing down and the Doctor going to investigate. There was lots of great stuff. It was great when the Doctor wasn't fucking off on holiday and leaving them fucking spinning plates for 40 minutes. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, it's a thumbs up for the Meddling Monk.
Cool. Sean?
I liked it as well. I just good mood, peace. Just felt nice to be in that environment, and just the soundscape was really nice and relaxing. I should probably watch it when I'm a bit more awake and not just as a like Doctor Who to chill and study to kind of thing.
My favorite time to watch that type of Doctor Who is in the winter, really early in the morning before anyone else has woken up, with a cup of tea in your dressing gown. Just like, this is good.
And there's no one around to say, what's this? Why isn't anything happening?
I was only a bit annoyed because I was like, I was hungover and I was quite hungry and I didn't have much in the fridge, so I was a bit grumpy about that. But if someday I'll get up really early after a night out and I'll make a big breakfast and I'll watch episode 2.
Get the egg grease on.
And I'll feel great.
Cool.
Imagine that dude's going, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the grease thing over and you go, and then you sit down with it and you go, oh no, it's ruined. I've ruined my breakfast.
I'm not going to watch this now.
Thank you all once again for coming on. I honestly can't believe you put up with my bullshit. Why don't you all tell me what you do, so people can go and find you? In the room with me now are 3 incredibly talented people with each of their own amazing thing to show off. So why don't you each tell me what they are? Owen, Sean, Owen. It's the randomizer.
In that order: Owen, Sean,
Owen, Sean, Gab, Owen, Sean, Gab, Owen, Sean.
I make a YouTube series called The Infinite Review. It's comedic reviews of everything in the universe, and it's fun and good. Check it out.
Gavin?
I create a YouTube channel called Transformers Reviews Done Quick, which you can access through trdq.org, and they're very funny and quick, and they won't get in your hair.
And Sean?
I run an animation studio that makes fun cartoons, and someday a show that Owen and I made together will come from it. So keep an eye out for that. It's called Studio Mala. MEALA is the second word there.
But go and look them up on Twitter and Instagram because they do lots of lovely shorts.
Yeah.
Short
Sorry, yeah, I should have plugged myself better.
Watch my shorts.
Studio Mala on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and there's little cartoons that are great, and loads of great animators worked on them, including me.
Right, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye,
I love
everybody.
you. I love you.
Bye. I love who?
I love who.
I love who?
Go.
Oh, Richie, can you end with that, please? Can that be your new sign off?
breakfast. Big breakfast.
Da, da, da.
Egg grease, egg grease, egg grease.